And so the melodrama that is Zlatan Ibrahimović versus Pep Guardiola continues, with Zlatan lambasting the Spanish coach, the Spanish native, that's what I'm looking for, coach of Manchester City, as the most immature manager he's ever worked with. Now, their history of falling out is long documented. I mean, Zlatan was never in favour, I don't think, at Barcelona, despite the fact that he scored 16 goals in 16 times in 23 starts for Barcelona. It's not exactly a bad return, but I don't think they saw eye to eye. Now, he goes through the reasons why, and this is all documented in the past in his book, Zlatan, but he goes into a little bit more detail as to why he thinks he's immature. So he talked about it firstly, like the first 6 months were perfect. When the manager changed system and tactics, it didn't work for him, is when he started to have the falling out. He said that he spoke to him and Guardiola responded, but then after that things went a little downhill, with Guardiola not looking him in the eye, walking out of rooms when he'd walk into it, and to the point where Zlatan, as he comes forward, said he was not a bad person, but the most immature I've had, because a man solves his problems. And then he goes on to say that it was after Barcelona's loss to Inter Milan that he screamed at Guardiola saying, "You have no balls." Sounds pretty much like Zlatan. So as far as this comment comes out, it's not exactly news, you know. It's just another level of this falling out that we've seen in both players in their own retrospect, or both players and now manager with Guardiola, have very successful careers. So it's not like you can take one side of the other and say, well, Guardiola, I think in regards to his tactics, as Zlatan came forward and spoke about how he thought the tactics weren't working, Guardiola has a pretty decorated history of knowing his system and playing to his strengths. I mean, he is probably one of the main reasons why Barcelona became such a dominant force after Frank Rijkaard and really started to cement himself as the best team in Europe for a long period of time, because he evolved his tactics and did focus a lot of it around Messi. And when you have such a great player, why would you not do that? And that was one of the things that Zlatan actually said. He said to him and said, "I believe that you are sacrificing some players for one player, Messi." This is a narrative that can go either way. If you sacrifice players for one and it doesn't work, I understand. But when it's the greatest player in the world in Barcelona, although at that point, as he mentioned, fell victim to a very defensively sound and Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan, it may have caused some frustration. It may not have seemed to have been the right tactical ideology up against someone like that, and therefore players get frustrated. But Guardiola's system is still in place at Barcelona. You know, it's tweaked. Luis Enrique tweaked it himself, but they still basically, I think, go with the blueprint which Guardiola put in place. So going after his tactics, I understand if it's frustrating. I think Zlatan himself just didn't fit as much into that system because he's an alpha. He wants to be the focus point of this attack. But Messi there, now what we've seen with Neymar, is that he's always going, until he passes on that torch, he's going to be the main man in that position. So maybe that is where the frustration came. So both of them faced off, as we know, last weekend. And as far as I'm aware, there was no involvement between both of them in the altercation that came after, which we're still trying to figure out details. Milk was thrown in Mourinho, I hear, which is pretty funny. But apparently Mourinho went in and was upset at Manchester City celebrating. And I think that's really, really petty. I think, because Mourinho mastered the over-the-top, in-your-face, oh my god, I want to crush your soul celebration. He used to run down the touchline, he used to run on the park and point up to the fans. He did it against Barcelona in the middle of it. I think Mourinho just, it's definitely sour grapes if he's getting upset at someone else celebrating. It was an important victory for City, so if that's true where that came from, I think that's laughable, because Mourinho, as much as I do like him, he made that his own. He made people wanting to hate him for his celebration, so I think that's a little ridiculous. But let us know what you think in the comment section below. The drama between Ibra and Zlatan, they're the same person. Maybe they have drama. Maybe Ibra wants to be Zlatan and Zlatan wants to be Ibra, and we all want to be Zlatan. That's how I'm ending.